Hello everyone and welcome to So Many Games Stood at a Time. My name is Joachim and as usual we will do the Kickstarter Gamefound update. And there is no reason to wait really, so let's just immediately dive in because we have 33 projects if I counted correctly. So the first one here is Book of Skulls, Slayers of Eragoth, which is basically a dungeon crawl that meets heavy metal music. It has just launched, that's why there's only 10 backers yet. But I think not my type of game because strangely it's basically you're going to be two teams of dungeon crawlers and one is trying to defeat the final boss while the other one is trying to defeat the other team. So it's 2 to 4 players, so you can do 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 and so on. But basically you need to have 2 people fighting against each other. That's going on as well. And then there's also a soundtrack, which is metal music. There's typical, but also different, well, there's some things different about this campaign as well. 10 interchangeable modular maps that you can change around. The art style will be either to your liking or not. Obviously, it's just a bit distinct. Yeah, so it claims to have lots and lots of replay value because you can mix and match everything. There's over 150 characters that might appear in your game, but you have to fight against or fight as. So there's a bunch of stuff here. Optimal for 2 to 3 players is 1v1, 1 versus 2 as well. Yeah, so a bunch of stuff here, different books and so on. So if this seems interesting to you, do give it a check. And also, as if you're into metal at all, then you might recognize things like Dio here as well, or Dio, I guess Dio. Yeah, so it has a bunch of stuff, typical dungeon crawler stuff, but also some special things. The dice look kind of cool, I have to say. Well, these anyway. These just look okay, but this with the circle looks even better. They also, like I said, they have the music. You can check it out here. They have some battle themes and so on. You're supposed to play the music when you're fighting. All right, what about, these are first created as well, so that's always something to know. Also checking the shipping rates. You can see it here. For me personally, it would be 15.5. What does that even mean? China 15, Hong Kong 5. That would not make any. 15.5. Stupid. 15.5 US. Okay, 17 for the Slayer tier, but cheapest is UK. So I guess that's where they are making it. Okay, so that is Book of Skulls, Slayers of Eragoth. Next up, we have Thornraver, Battle for Solus. Now, if you have played, what's the name again? Master of Wills, this will seem very, very similar because you can combine it with Master of Wills. So Master of Wills is a card game. And this is a card game as well, but it adds more area control, as you can see here with the map, and also some special cards, like here the Thornraver Horde cards that you will be putting together and so on. I don't know if there's a lot of pictures of how the game actually played. I watched a video to find out more about it. You can see here the Horde cards, the region cards, and to people who have played Master of Wills before, they does look very similar, but the gameplay itself is quite different. I'm not sold on it, I have to say, because in the phases of play, like, there's no pictures to explain it by. I would suggest, if you're interested, check these 3 videos. But basically you're trying to take over these areas, right? And you're playing the cards as usual. You have 4 or 6 cards to choose from. You will have 3 cards that are your regions, your capitals, sorry. So if you have a card that moves to your side and is the color of your citadel, you will put it behind it and strengthen it, and that might give you resources. Same thing here with allies, loyalists, and recruits. That's where the capitals go. And then you also have the district cards that will be moving around, the leader cards, character cards, and so on. You'll also be able to use your special cards again. Those are the Thornraver Horde cards that have special abilities. But this time you don't just choose left or right. It depends on how you're connecting them with other cards, because you can see the indents in the side here where they match together, right? So you're going to have your own little tableau building going on as well. And then there's like this battle, which is very difficult to explain, but basically you have both capitals that have to have at least 5 cards, either as backup behind the capital or in front of it as a normal kind of Master of Wills game. And then these two groups will fight it out, which is kind of special as well, because you're going to take all your cards, you're going to shuffle them, and then you're going to be like one-on-one, play a card, see who has the most, and so on. It's very specific. But if you're interested in Masters of Wills in general, check this out. It's intriguing, but I'm not convinced as of yet. So I guess we're going to see where it ends. Also, they say in the FAQ that you can use the Master of Wills decks in Thornraver and the other way around. And this is new from last time I checked, which is like half an hour ago, what add-ons are being considered. So those that supported Master of Wills in the past know that we've had expansions, if it gets large, they might have extra stuff. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so that is Thornraver Battle for Solus. And also the story, by the way, of this game continues forward on Masters of Wills, where that ended. All right, Amulet of Thrayax. So sacrifice more wretched townsfolk than the other cults in this competitive 2 to 6 player area control board game. It is what it says it is. You have this circle. This is the town. Reminds me of Ankh-Morpork if I look at it like this. But basically you'll be going around and you'll be killing people. Because on your turn you'll be playing 2 types of cards. One is a counter and one is a kind of kill card. I forgot the name of the card. But the killing card, of course, you'll be killing people for points. But then a counter card will be like setting up more stuff and so on, more strategic. You also have this Amulet of Thrayax that will give you extra powers if you're playing in that area at certain moments. So basically you're all going to be a cult. They're quite different in appearance and I think also in abilities. You can see here the tokens that you have, the cult markers, the districts that you have, the Dread Center where we'll be going around. Lots of different cards, specific art style. You can see the red stuff that happens when the amulet is shining on the district where you are using it. Okay, so basically you're going to be going around and killing people for points. That's what it basically comes down to. For example, how to play: you place your cult markers on the game board. Then you scheme, so you play murder cards and counter cards. Okay, 1 murder and 1 counter each turn. Remember, the red happens when the amulet is shining upon it. Okay, and then they will affect different locations. For example, this one here, you will put the villagers, I think, that you're pulling in for later. You can burn cards to place inconvenience on the game boards, which are workers that activate it in return. They will become more powerful when the light shines upon it. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Okay, I think it looks very original for sure. So at the end of the round, you will count the value of the harvested tokens on their altar. So basically, dead people. Peasants are worth 1, nobles are worth 10, and your indebted nobles that survive the game are 20. Because some of the nobles you will put on the board, hoping they will survive. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. That's what the game is all about. Let's here see some of the pictures of the different cults, even as a media pack, whatever. Here is the shipping in pounds. So UK, US, EU. Yeah, seems pretty okay in general. Okay, that is Amulet of Thrayax. Next up, we have Hoops Basketball League. Now, in this basketball game, 1 to 5 players, you're basically playing a basketball league. You will have, on each turn, you will have the option to either improve your stadium, your team, getting new players, having them practice, all those kind of things. For example, here, take no prisoners as you seek victory through roster building, stadium improvements, extra training, or even sabotage. Like, I like these games in general, but I always think I don't like the sabotage bit. I think they've added it because it makes it more of a game and stopping people, which I can understand, but it takes the realism out of it a little bit. So you start with 1-star players, but you can improve throughout the season. That's pretty cool. I watched the video as well. It gives you a lot more information about all that. Here are different mats for the teams. I don't think they have an overview of how it works exactly. No, so for that you have to watch the video. But a lot of these players have like D6s, like you roll 5 D6s, and then you know how many points that player scored. You will do that. Well, where is this? Here it is. You have the score track. So you'll see all the positions of your players. They will all roll their dice, and they'll add the numbers, and then you see who won. But then you'll also be able to play cards, for example, SWAT, or influence other people, like they lose a die, or you re-roll dice, and so on, so on, so on. You have the solo mode as well. That I think you will carry out your turn. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it seems solo mode is just playing a normal game, but then against an AI. So yeah, I think it looks kind of cool, to be honest. Too bad about the sabotage, but that's a personal preference. All right, then Death by Coconuts. It's a death stats betting race of risk and reward. So basically what's going to happen is very easy to explain. You have the board here. You have 3 spots at the top. Is there a better board to see? I guess here on the top left, you'll have 3 kinds of deaths. And then you have to bet on what you think has caused the most amount of deaths. If you're correct, you get to move farthest, and so on, so on, so on. So that's basically what the card is about. And you have a bunch of cards that all represent different types of deaths. I'm looking for examples. Okay, how many people died through to powered lawnmowers? Kangaroos, falling vending machines, falling coconuts. So kangaroos, for example, is 18. But maybe you thought it was more people died because of falling coconuts. So, and then you bet, right? And that's basically the game. Now, I'm not really a fan of these kind of games because if you play them a lot, then you know in advance what happens. But I guess it's more like a drinking game, party game, you know, relaxing and stuff like that. Anyway, not my thing, but maybe it is yours. Oh yeah, shipping. Did we do the shipping of the basketball game? We forgot that. Sorry. I'm not going to go back. All right, because I already closed it. So shipping, UK, EU, USA, Australia, New Zealand, rest of the world. Okay, there we go. Then we have the Gig, the dice rolling jazz game. Take to the stage in this jazzy real-time roll and write for 4 players. This is definitely on my radar without checking the shipping. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but it's basically a roll and write game where you have an instrument. You can see the different types of instruments you can choose, and then you have a song. So you will be rolling dice as the game starts and placing your dice. And once you have placed all your dice, you'll say ticket to the bridge, and then the round will be over, and then more stuff will happen. So it's real time. All of you will be placing dice, and then depending on how you've played your dice, you will circle out solos on your instruments. You're trying to cover all the spots because it might give you points. There's set collection in there. There's special abilities. Those special abilities are also set collection. So if you use them, they're no longer part of the set collection. So there's strategy in there as well. Yeah, it looks really neat. You have a lot of different songs. You have different instruments. The dice will look very nice with the tones on it and the musical tones on it. Okay, I forgot what I was saying because I just tried to kill a mosquito. But basically, I think it's cool. You can see, choose your instrument, real-time dice rolling, perform legendary solos, easy to learn, quick to play. Yeah, it looks... I think this... Just look at how nice it looks as well. I think this is a pretty sure thing for me, to be honest. All right, I didn't go over everything, of course, what it does. But yeah, let's take a look at the shipping, and I'm going to be super disappointed. Ah, no. Hong Kong, Macau is here. Very, very nice for me personally. The other countries might be a little bit small to read, but it's mostly Europe here, and this is still Europe, but also more Asia and yeah, Africa. Okay, so anyway, that's done. That is it just Gig that it's called? The Gig. Okay. Next up, we have E-Raptor. Now, if you're into inserts, then you might have heard of them before. They've now done they're running a special set, apparently, with original artwork. So basically, they've taken all these games and made a very special insert. For example, the Lost Ruins of Arnak, you can see it has a lot of details, looks really nice. For example, you have the Lost Ruins of Arnak here, and it looks really, really nice. Very nice finishing. You have the plastic pieces as well to make sure nothing falls out. Very nice coloring. Looks really cool. Now, I don't own it. You have Maracaibo. I'm going to skip over because I don't own these. But Black Rose War Rebirth, I will own these. So, but look how very nicely dark and sinister, and the art on it and so on looks really, really cool. What else is there? So this is Black Rose Wars itself. Okay. All right. Well, it is Rebirth, but whatever. Tolkien. Yeah, nice. So you can see it's very beautiful, right? So also we have Bonfire, which I own, but I still haven't played. Then we also have Through the Ages. I played this on my phone because it's just too long to play in person. Alchemist, the King's Golem. So there's a bunch of games here that you can check out. Sanctum, Maglev Metro, which was a Kickstarter not long ago. Whistle Mountain we have here as well. And yeah, and that's it. And then you have a bunch of stretch goals, which will help even more. Shipping table is here. So Poland, the UK, US, and Canada. So apparently there's no rest of world, I guess, which is a bit weird. There's no rest of world. Strange. Maybe I'm missing something. What if I just click on 2 inserts? Can I choose a different country, or is it just, it's only limited to these countries? Oh wow. Okay, so I shouldn't even look at this because I can't even buy it, but I did it for you guys. All right, let's continue. Then we have Cocktail Card Design software. So a powerful yet easy use card editor for all your tabletop game projects. Basically, this will make it a lot easier to create your own cards if you're a designer. Now, I design all my cards in Photoshop, but maybe this will be a lot easier. Maybe I should try to give it a shot, make my life easier in general. Will be cool. I'm definitely going to look into it. It says there's a lot of options that you can use. They have a lot of sets of graphics that you can use as well. So there's licenses that you can use. There's a lot of how-to videos, and yeah, so pretty cool. You have different pledges as well: 4-month license, 12-month license, early bird 3-year license, and more regular 3-year license, perpetual license. Yeah, so bunch of stuff here. Sponsor a small feature, only $2,500 US. Next up, we have Paper Wars 101 Case Guild. Only 22 hours to go. When you see this, it might be less. I hope it won't be finished by then, but basically, you know me by now, potentially. This is a war game, Compass Games. I always show them to you. This exists. If this is your kind of thing, go and check it out. Not my kind of thing. Not even going to look at how exactly it works. I'm just showing you this so you can see it visually, what the map looks like and the units and so on. But I can't be bothered to check more, but still showing you guys and girls and whatever you identify as these games, because they always back. They always back. And there's not many people, but they always back and back by a lot. So check it out if you're interested. Then we have Crossroads in the Innkeepers Creed. Now, there are already a couple of tavern games out there, but this is another one. But it is seemingly original. As to say is, when you start with your inn, you start with 4 tiles in the corners. We'll get there soon enough. There we go, start at 4 in the corners. And then you're going to be drafting with other tiles and slowly filling up your inn. And then as the game goes on, you're going to be investing in equipment, in services, in workers, in special guests. They all have different effects on your inn. You can see here the different factions as well. So if you do certain things, you will gain more standing with certain factions, or you also have the Thieves Guild. You might go down You know, there's a bunch of here: the distressed, the outlaws, the travelers, the townsfolk, the nobles. It's the outlaws that are very difficult to keep happy, because basically when you keep them happy, the other ones get annoyed, and the other way around. So yeah, it does look very interesting. Looks visually, it's not like, oh my goodness, it's so pretty, but it's functional, you know. So you can see here, investing new tavern elements grants you one-time bonus. The weight of strategizing and combining actions transfers from your tiles to the reputation track because of the special actions. Nobles donate to the inn's development. Travelers can provide with new exciting recipes because you're also making food. That also influences a lot of stuff. There's gossip that you can get as well, which can also influence other people's inns. So there's positive and negative gossip. Prepare dishes, as I said before, getting those ingredients and then doing that. So it's a bunch of stuff in this game. Looks pretty interesting. Okay. So there's playthroughs here that you can check out, and then shipping is here. So pretty expensive but too expensive for me. But if you live in Poland, it's pretty nice. European Union is also doable. Once you leave Europe, however, except for Switzerland, Norway, and Turkey, it becomes a little bit expensive. All right. So that's that. That is Innkeeper, or was it? Crossroads and the Innkeeper's Creed. Next up, we have duo dice, more than just dice. This is very special. This is a die inside of a die. So what are you going to do? You roll the die, and then you add the inside die with the outside die, depending on what you're doing, because you have different options. You can do, for example, this is a 1. You can do plus the 4. You can. I'll go over it here. For example, you can just use the outer dice. It's 6. Use the inner dice. It's 15 if it's a d20 inside. You can use both of them. But then you can also use them with the plus minus, because there's always 4 things outside, or multiple duo dice, and they're all like mixed up together and so on. It becomes very complicated at a certain point. But I can imagine, if you like this, especially also as a designer, you can design a whole game around this. Okay, you can see there's always 4 different things on the outside as well, and then inside you can choose what kind of die is in there. Could be a D4, D3, D4. Whatever, D6, yeah. So lots of different things. You can see here the different dice that can go in there. I think it's really, really cool, really original. Let's take a look at shipping, all right? So these are the results. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. So USA, UK, Canada, Asia, Singapore, domestic, rest of the world. All right. Okay, and the prices here, early bird $70, so on, so on, so on. Okay, then that was duo dice, more than just dice. Next up, we have Academy of Arts, the trading game, an adventurous role-playing TCG with old school artwork and new school gameplay. So it is, once again, a TCG. There was actually more than one that I was going to talk about today, but several got cancelled. Makes my job a little bit easier. So we have the lore here. This time we're an Academy of Arts, a collective of schools hidden from the eyes of non-magic users. La 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 la. The gameplay sounds very familiar. Arsenal of magic spells, summon artifacts, react quickly to counter their moves during initiative, and you're using dark and light mana. Old school meets new school, because it's also based on magic and so on, right? Punishing it, rewarding. Of course, the usual thing. The art looks really nice. You have a lot of different cards. You have wizard spells, summon, artifact, reaction, and chance, and then 3 levels of rarity: bronze, silver, and gold. So yeah, if this sounds interesting to you, you can dive in more. You have a lot of different artists who have decided to use their talents in this game. Players 2, 15 to 45 minutes. Let's take a look at the shipping. There's no shipping. Timeline, Y back, stretch goals, shipping, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Just says at the conclusion of the campaign, in July, you'll get a notification email from our Pledge Manager partner. And then you can check shipping. So basically, you won't know what you're paying for shipping until it's too late. It might be super expensive. Who knows? All right, then we have microCrime, a roll and write investigation game, $1 US. This has at the moment $396 euros actually, but it says $1 USD, whatever. 285 backers. And what is cool about this? It is obviously a print and play, but you are going to be creating a crime scene based on tables, so a detailed rulebook and tables. So you take the tables and you answer all the questions by looking around you in the room. So your room, wherever you are, will become the crime scene. So as soon as the game starts, you're not in your house anymore, you're inside the crime scene. Everything can be considered part of crime scene. Explore the scene by simply walking and looking around. And then you'll be identifying objects that will then be part of the case. Okay, so where are these tables, case files? For example, the first check, you roll a die. 2 to 5 is a simple crime. There's only one body. 11 to 12 is a massacre. There's so many. So all that stuff changes. So you can see it here as well. What is there? You have to draw the room. What is in there? What is important, and so on, so on, so on. So yeah, it looks very intriguing. Of course, there's no shipping because it is a print and play. Right, so nothing is necessary to ship. This is microCrime, a roll and write investigation game. Then we have Dragon Wake, a party game of deception, deduction, and dragons. So basically, once again, in the beginning, in a deception game, you get a roll. So you're either trying to slay the dragon or you are trying to hide relic cards and just find the dragon. So those are basically the rolls. Okay, so everyone is dealt cards. Players reveal cards from other players' hands, so you can't pick your own cards, but you can manipulate others into picking or avoiding. Once enough cards are gone, then the round ends. And then you need to just find the cards you need to win. Okay, so you can see all these different cards that can have an effect. There's a rune bearer as well. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of these type of games in general, so I didn't go really all in it. But if this seems interesting to you, do check it out. The shipping is... did I pass by already? Boom, 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 boom. Why, Kickstarter? Let's just click on one of the... pledges. Oh yeah, so $16 in general. Maybe United States will be cheaper. The USA, $10. Yeah, so there are some differences. Yeah, mostly $16. All right, next up is Bananya, the card game. So apparently it says here, yeah. Be the first to collect all 10 different Bananya characters to win this fast play card game. Apparently this is a cartoon. Never heard about it before. They're all a bunch of bananas and there's animals in there. Trying to collect all the animals. Here you have the different one: Bananya, Tabby Bananya, Mackerel Tabby Bananya, and so on. Daddy Bananya. You can see them here as well, all the different Bananyas. And all these different Bananyas have different abilities. So you always have to play a card, but also try to collect cards because you need to have one of each, right? So you can see here, you start with 7 cards. The rest is a draw pile, and then after draw a card, you can either play a card or you take one from the discard pile. And if you say "yeah," it means that you have 10 different Bananyas. But if they are wrong, they have to shuffle their hand and randomly discard 2 cards. Okay. So you can't bluff, you get punished. But you also have a bunch of extra stuff because of the series, right? So yeah, Bananya. Here is the shipping info. So I guess for me that will be the rest of the world, but it's not my thing, so I don't really care all that much. You even have playmats. I didn't see the playmats. I hear the playmats. Yeah, see? So if you think it's totally kawaii, which is cute in Japanese, then maybe you should go for it. That was Bananya. Next up is Dockfighters, the Ale Wars. So it's a miniature aerial combat game with magnetized dieselpunk fighter aircraft. Now, it's a miniatures game, Not my thing. I've said that a lot today, I feel. But what I do think is really cool is, first of all, what they look like, but also their life dial is really well made. You can see it here. You can very easily increase their height, lower it down. But then it's also very easy to change their life and so on. Like these miniatures are really, really cool, I feel. So if this is kind of your thing, do check it out. You have this nice booklet as well, binder, I guess. So let's take a look at the shipping, because it's a lot of miniatures apparently, and big ones as well. So much stuff, oh my god. All the way down. All the way down. And there's a lot of videos as well, so that's cool. Wow, this is even a full case of it. Languages, we count on you, the crew. Shipping here. Okay. So Germany, European Union, USA, UK, rest of the world. So large and epic edition is more expensive. I think it even looks kind of cheap for so many items. Well, okay, let's continue. We have Hacktivity, highly interactive co-op board game. Yes, another hacking game. We've had several games now. There's even another one coming. But I like this one. It's first created by Acolyte, cooperative board game. Can also be played solo, 15 minutes per player, so this can be really short. So you have a campaign booklet, and then you have the board set out, you choose your own character to fight with, and you're basically countering the AI as much as possible. So you draw viruses and character cards, and then you try to, of course, remove them. You have abilities that you can use. On the left side of the board, you have the alarm. So if it goes closer to your alarm, it's really bad, of course. You want to stay away. On the right side, you have the main threat that you have to try to neutralize. And the video gives a lot better idea of how it actually works, but it looks pretty neat. Artwork is fine. You can see solo mode cards, variant setup. You have the booklet as well that gives you storytelling scenarios as well. Yeah, I think it's more of the more simple hacking games, but looks cool. Yeah, and also here storage boxes, but I think you also have boxes that, if I'm not mistaken, they had boxes that actually release new cards. 6 scenario decks, yeah. So when you finish a scenario, new cards enter the game, so that's also cool. Yeah, well, let's take a look at the shipping. I don't remember checking that. Shipping. Here we go. USA, Canada, Quebec, Montreal, Europe, Oceania, and rest of the world. Ouch. Okay, there goes my interest, and because it's like rest of the world, 47 US. Ouch. So yeah. Does it also say here, like for your country? It doesn't say it. No. But anyway, yeah. Okay, never mind. Hacktivity. Too bad. Next is 44 BCE, a game of strategy and betrayal. When I saw it first, I thought this is very brown and bland. But then after reading up more and checking it out more, I'm quite interested, because you play with 2 to 5 players and you're going to be a famous Roman character. So either Agrippa, Brutus, Cleopatra, Mark Antony, or Octavian. And then you're vying for control in Rome. And there will always be one person who in the turn is the Imperius something. I'm going to go down. Imperius Maius, yeah. So when you're the Imperius Maius, you're actually hiding behind your screen, deciding what you're going to do. But then the other people are doing the same thing, because they're trying to backstab you, trying to take control away from you, and so on. So here's some gameplay examples. You spend denarii to build structures that help you earn influence and gain special actions. Then you collect that influence. You can enlist recruits that help you. You can, if you have too much, you discard it, sure. Imperial Maius hides their player mat and players recruits loyalty and influence in order to try to maintain control, while the others do the opposite. You also have negotiation, so you're trying to negotiate. There's backstabbing as usual. So there's a certain amount of rounds, and at the end of the round, if you have the most Imperium, you win. So it's a lot of, yeah, you don't know what people are going to do, right? It's plotting. So I like that idea. There was another game that like it that I forgot the name, that's also about Rome, and also there's always one person in charge and the other people are trying to push them off. But at the same time, you have to make sure the invasions don't become too much, or you'll lose parts of the country, stuff like that, or the empire. Okay, so here's the shipping. Yeah, we're gonna pass for this as well because Asia's too expensive. But yeah, so well, too expensive. I guess it's okay. I guess depending. All right, so that is 44 BCE. Then we have Bark Avenue, which is a deeply thematic route optimization pickup and delivery dog walking game on the streets of New York City. Basically, you're walking around in New York City when you're walking dogs, and certain dogs want to go to different places. Certain dogs need different areas, have special spots. Dogs come out every round, so you can decide to get more dogs while you're walking. They have their preferences. They have money that they will give you. Well, not the dogs, but the owners. You have your reputation if you do a really good job. So basically kind of like pick-up delivery, but then with dogs, right? And then also you roll the dice with poop and everything. But basically what I've said is the main idea behind the game. It looks very cute. If you're into dogs at all, or New York, I guess, then I would recommend this because it looks pretty fun, especially with kids, you know, kids who love dogs and so on. So yeah, multiple walkers, of course, multiple players. So yeah, let's take a look at the shipping. Boom, boom, boom. Shipping, designers, meet the team, media reviews, playthrough, shipping. Here we go. USA, Canada, UK, Alaska, Hawaii, EU, and AU, but no rest of world, apparently. So this is also a limited campaign, is it? Does it say anything here about select a country? There's no country to select. It's red. Oh, here. Oh, no, it's you can select all the countries, but I don't know. Maybe it'll just be updated near the end, I guess. Okay, so that's dog walking, what was it called? Bark Avenue. Then we have ARCs. Okay, many people know about this already. You can see it here. There's almost 10,000 backers. They already have $1 million US. So in the beginning, I was not interested in ARCs, but then I saw some videos, and now I'm interested in ARCs because it reminds me a little bit of a miniature version. Well, no miniatures, but a smaller version of has a little bit of Twilight Imperium in there because it has these goals every round that you're trying to complete. So you're competing with each other, which is Twilight Imperium. But that's the only comparison, okay? And it's space. The trick taking I think is okay. Normally I'm not really a fan. The art I also think is okay. Basically, when somebody is playing an action, let's say it's a number 3, and you can do whatever the icons on the card say. Let's say it's 3 cranes you can build 3 times, and then people can follow the suit and then do whatever it says, if it's as long as it's higher. Or they can play a completely different suit, but they can only do 1 action on that card, even if it says 2, 3, or 4, it doesn't matter, they can only do 1. Or they can put a card face down and do the same for 1. But whoever has the highest value at the end of that round will have initiative. Unless somebody discards 2 cards, then or discards an extra card, then they will take initiative. So it's constantly wrestling initiative from each other, when to use a weak action, when to use a strong action, trying to get those goals done, to get those points, power, and so on. But at the same time, there's also an alien race invading, if I'm not mistaken. So there's also something you have to take into account. So you can see it here. The left one is the normal action. It's a 3. Then the other one play blue, so they can only do 1 of their blue actions, even though there's 2. And then the one who plays face down just follows and gets to do 1. And then the one in the end has a higher value, 5 against 3. So they will go first next round, and they get to shoot once as well. So the battles are pretty cool because there's 3 different types that you can use while you're fighting, bombarding, assaulting, and raiding. Bombarding is a safe one, like slower attack, less chances of having your own units killed. Assaulting is more effective at attacking, if I'm not mistaken. Raiding has a higher chance of losing units, but you can potentially steal cards from other people. So there's also that. There's also a campaign. If you add the Blighted Reach campaign, that adds more maps and has actually like a whole story and different endings and so on. So yeah, it looks really cool. You can see I pledged here already. I wasn't gonna, but then because I had Oath and I was kind of disappointed, and then Root, I never played, so I don't know. So yeah, that is Arcs. Then we continue with a Game of Swords and Shields, which is a relaunch, a turn-based develop. Basically, it's a print and play edition of that. In the comments, there's a lot of people who are very passionate about this game. So basically, it's just a bunch of swords and shields, and you're trying to defeat the other person by playing swords against their shields. And the art looks funny. So you can see it here. You're spending swords, you're 5 to buy a level 5 sword, and then you'll throw it against somebody else's shields, and of course damage each other and so on. They have different names, different types of swords and so on. So yeah, this looks interesting. Just check it out. It's a download game, so there's no shipping at all. It's a Game of Swords and Shields. Then we have Castleshire or Castleshire. I forgot which one it is, but you're trying to build a perfect castle. But this is a kind of funny thing. Okay, so you have all these towers, right, from 1 to 12, and in your hand, you can see it here at the bottom, you have parts of the tower, right? So on your turn, the first player is going to play something face up. So there's numbers on the card. So let's say you play 6, you put it on 6, you put your builder on it, done, fine, right? But then the other player also places a card, but it's going to place it face down on a number. And then you have to challenge them or not. You can say like, okay, you put your card on 5. I think you actually put a 5 there. It's fine. Or you can say like, I don't think you put a 5 there. I think you put something else there. And then they reveal. If your challenge is correct, then you kick their builder off. So it's more points for you. If they are correct, then they kick you off and they add a builder. So this will continue until you reach number 12. So actually in your first turn, you can really go to 12 because the round will end. I mean, once you have reached a certain level, no, you cannot go lower than what is already on the tower, okay? So for example, if you've already put a 6 down, you cannot put anything anymore on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're gonna go up, potentially very quickly or very slowly. But the game is played over a multitude of rounds. So if you played like 3, 6, and 9 the first round, the next round you don't get your cards back. The cards are removed, but you will continue with the cards still in your hand. So the others can remember, okay, you use 3, 6, and 9, you're probably not going to use that anymore. So things like that. So and then over 3 rounds, whoever has the most points wins. And of course, if you have played with a lot of people, it's probably much more interesting than with a couple of people. So that is the basic game. But you can see here, you have the Legendary Edition. It comes with a lot of expansions, okay? This is just basic game that you see here now. But then here, this is already new. Ally cards. You have guild books that you reopen that looks really cool. It has different setups and actions and so on. Then there's even more. Where was it? AI cards as well for solo play, more ally cards, obstacle cards, more guild books, a very nice wooden game box. I think it's pretty cool, to be honest. I mean, it's definitely something I will play with my students, but let's take a look at the shipping because that's also important. Shipping. Show me the shipping. There's a little bit. No. Shipping here. Oh, okay. So let's take a look. Asia is so expensive, so probably not. But if you live in New Zealand, it's pretty nice. Yeah, I'm just unlucky for Asia, sadly. It's 41 US. That's not going to happen. Maybe when it hits retail, right? Okay, then we have Batman Gotham City Chronicles. It's already season 3, but what is more important this time is an RPG. They have added an RPG. They're already over they're almost at 1 million euros. They're at 925,000. So basically now they have added an RPG, a big RPG book, as you can see here. So if you're into RPGs and Batman, this is the time to jump in for sure. You can also still order the board game, the season 1 and season 2 core boxes. The way it works is always there's a scenario, someone is the villains, the other ones are the heroes, and you're both trying to achieve your goal. But important now, for season 3, they have divided it into 2 boxes, and they say, okay, we know people like to have more boxes, but now one box has all the stuff for the hero player, and the other box has all the stuff for the villain player to make it easier for setup. Okay, and here you have some other stuff. Of course, the miniatures are always going to look really cool. There's also the Batman Who Laughs this time if you order soon enough, but then I imagine you can probably get it anyway in the Pledge Manager. So yeah, Batman fans go crazy. You have here the Bat Computer files, which also looks really nice. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Just check it out. Not for me, just too many boxes. I think it's not, yeah, I don't think. You see here season 1 for the content, season 2, and now also season 3. That's a lot of Batman. All right, shipping wise, you have it here, the countries. Even though China and Hong Kong is pretty reasonable with the different pledges and everything. So yeah. All right, so next up we have Dice Park, Dungeons of Doom. Very simple, print and play as well. You have a dungeon sheet, 5 dice, 1 pencil, 1 eraser. You roll the dice, you then create paths, then you're going to add monsters and add to the terror gauge, and at the end you also have challenges, of course, to score points, and at the end you have your own dungeon. Yay, that is the game. All right, once again, very cheap, €5 to get it. It is a download, it is not shipping. You also have Dungeons of Doom plus Airflip, other stuff there. Then we have Ukiyo reprint, which is one I'm definitely going to get. This one is physical, reminds me a lot of Sprawlopolis. Why? Because every card, there's 18 cards. Every card has a goal. Every card has a goal, challenge. And 3 cards will be taken away. There's 1 card that has all the challenges here on the left one, this one here, from easy to medium to hard to brutal, right? And they'll say, okay, take these 3 cards out. Those are the 3 challenges you have to do with the rest of the cards. So then you'll be placing these cards in a 6x6 grid. So you'll often be overlapping. So in one of the videos, the example was, okay, you need to have a row of 4 flowers. You need to have a horizontal row. You need to have a diagonal row of anything for 5, if I'm not mistaken, and have 11 cranes. And then, of course, as you're playing, you're trying to make sure you have all the different challenges done. But of course, every time you shuffle for a new game, the cards come out in different order, so you have a lot of replayability. Yeah, I'm copying some of the video, what they said, but it is just a fact. So this just looks cool. I like it. I want it because this kind of stuff I like taking on holiday together with Sprawlopolis and so on. UK, £2, everywhere else £5. So, you know, pretty cheap. All right, so it's Ukiyo. Then we have Breach by our good friends, and I'm saying that sarcastically, Ludus Magnus Studio. So, as you know, I have Dungeonology. I've gotten some comments on that because I made videos while no one had their games yet on Kickstarter. So I have to watch out that I'm not too positive, or people might say that I'm employed by them again. Shout out to that one person who did. So yeah, basically it's the Breach. I think this looks really cool, I have to say, but their games always look cool. I don't think anybody can say that that's not true. Their games always look really cool. So you're a breacher, once again, an expert hacker. Another hacker game. So you're trying to steal data from Genesis, a secret system controlled by the HAB Corp. Now, what is different with this game from other games, 1 to 4 players, is that, well, that's not different, but that you are all in there together but it's not co-op. You're fighting each other, you're fighting the system, and you're trying to get out on time. So, but it looks really cool. I don't even really want to paint these miniatures because the contrast between the gray and so on with the pink, purple is really cool. And one of them is called Mila. I mean, maybe it's my oldest daughter. Maybe I should just get this. The eyes, the enemies look really nice as well. So we already know this, right? So it's all about the gameplay, what you're going to be doing. Well, you're going to be hacking. You're going to be walking, running around. I just want to see the board at this point. I like that this guy is an angel. Oh, but this reminds me of a bird. He reminds me of that guy from Star Wars. Who was like, Annie, the guy who owns the store. Definitely looks like him, probably modeled after him. I forgot his name, but maybe it's also similar to this. Anyway, so here we have, and this guy's huge, Prometheus. But I want to just see the game board, man, so I can explain it. Maybe here in the gameplay, yeah. So, first of all, whoever you're playing with will be asymmetric, so it's going to be different. You're going to be going around, rolling a die, trying to get these tokens. If you have them all around the information here, then you can take it out, but then it'll raise the bar, the danger, and more enemies will come out in general. And whoever has the most information stolen at the end of the game wins. But of course, you'll be going around, also meeting each other, potentially fighting, I guess, but also fighting the programs there. Okay. So yeah, I think the game looks very, very interesting. But of course, it is Ludus Magnus Studio, so up to you if you... Because there's a potential that it'll take a while to deliver. I haven't checked the comments, but potentially there might be some people talking about that. All right, so here's the shipping. Hong Kong, 23 euros. It is among the lowest. Alaska, 99. But, you know, this can always be worse for the rest of the world. Okay, so yeah, let me know. Would you back Ludus Magnus Studios again or not? There's 1,100 comments, so I'm taking. Yeah, people are talking about the other project they have going, and here as well, Novaitis. So yeah, I don't know. They're talking about other stuff as well, but whatever. Up to you if you want to do it or not. I might, actually. All right, we're almost done with Kickstarter. Next up is Santa's Little Elves. Okay, don't skip, because this has been made by Bruno Faiduti. Okay, Bruno Faiduti, you know him or you don't know him, but he has made a lot of good games. I can't really tell immediately which ones, but I remember his name, and I don't have that a lot, so you know what? Let's just quickly check. Okay, Bruno Faiduti. He has Mystery of the Abbey, Citadels, Queen's Necklace, Diamant, Mission, Red Planet, Ad Astra, and Masquerade. So yeah, Raptor as well. He has a good resume. Okay, so why am I talking about Santa's Little Elves? It's pretty cool. Basically, just the system that you have this. This board here in the middle. So you have 2, 3, 4, 5. The tiles are around it, and when it's your turn, you're going to take the die, put it on a certain number of which tile you want, and then the other players are going to guess, I think you're going to get number 3. And if it is true, you have 3, they will take the tile. If not, you get to get the tile. So, of course, you're trying to get certain goals and challenges and so on, get as many points as possible. But it's always the bluffing one, right? Are you going to go the obvious one that you really need, or you're going to bluff or not, and so on. It's basically a mind game, but then in a Santa's jackets. All right, so toy tiles, special tiles that allow you to change stuff as well. So yeah, you know, I think it's just a cute game. Because here you shuffle, you draw 4 tiles, then you choose which one you want, and then they have to guess, and if they're correct, you lose it. If they're wrong, you get to keep it. Stuff like that. It's a fun, silly bluffing game with a great theme. There you go. So what about shipping? Shipping? No shipping? Did I just miss it completely? International games. Oh, here, shipping, USA. No international. After the Kickstarter campaign. Okay, so I think this is just US only. Is it? Yeah, only US only. Oh, boo. So afterwards it will be available though. Then we have the Castles of Burgundy. Oh, it's Gamefound time. Then we have the Castles of Burgundy Special Edition. So this is a hugely blinged out version of Castles of Burgundy. Just look at the size of the box. Castles of Burgundy, most people will know how it plays already. So it says here a complete redesign of art and layout to ensure that every piece will have great art and enhanced in-game usability. There's a lot of acrylic stuff as well, double layer player boards, special bags for hexes, 30% bigger tiles, metal coins. Yeah, so great price, great price. Get it first, play faster. Yeah, so there's a lot of expansions in there as well. Vineyards, as you can see. So this adds way more stuff to your board that you already have. So with this game, you'll definitely have more than enough for your fix, okay? So boom, 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 boom. There's so much stuff that they added, so much unlocked still. The castles look awesome. Do have a how to play though for the people who have never played this before? I tried to play it twice, and I gave up twice. But twice I wasn't in a good mood to do it actually. So yeah, they literally don't say how to play. No, they don't say how to play. So there's that. Of course, you have the videos of how to play. Basically, you're going to be rolling dice, and then depending on the dice, you're going to do actions, trying to get points and combos and so on. Shipping is here, as you can see. So Poland again has the best prices. Okay, then we have 4 left, and then it's done. Next up, we have Sare. I don't know if you say it like that, but strategy game from 2 to 4 players with a clever mix of resource management and push your luck mechanisms for a unique game experience, which I'm actually interested, even though it's not that popular at the moment. This game has a lot of buildings and has a very special way of building these buildings. Although I have to say, the way they portray it is not that good. There's also no playthrough videos, so that's also not that good. Basically, you're going to choose the type of building you want to build, first of all. And you have a lot of different 3D buildings, right? Miniatures. And then you're going to start taking cards of resources. But if you push your luck too far, then the workers might have something to say about all the stuff you're making them do and so on. So it says here, you play at the same time. There's a tension because you see if people are going farther or busting or not. Okay. And then if you have enough resources and you can continue with your phase, you can build. So this is an example of a board, right? So you can see the different little houses. The video shows it better. You can see the cards that you draw as well. And you can see in advance what you're going to draw. So you can avoid revolts, but then maybe you don't have enough resources to do what you want later on. So it says here, all production cards won during this phase are lost except for one, which players can pick. So if you're looking for one specific resource, I guess it could be good to do that. I don't know. You have different icons and so on. The buildings you need will also have these icons on them, of course. You can play on Tabletopia, though, in 2, 3, and 4 player. You have the buildings here, where you, the way they look. So I can imagine it can look cool on the board, but I think at this point, this campaign doesn't have enough information. There's also only this video, and that is it. And that's not good enough. You need more. Unless, of course, behind my back, they've added more. But they have so much stuff, right? So much stuff, but then no real videos. Unless you speak French. On explique et on joue. Anyway. So here we have the shipping up down to 2 decimals, so there's always that. And it's also in French, Chine instead of China, New Zealand. All right, so yeah, so this is just in French, so they should definitely try to get a English version. Although, and they even say here that some stuff is no longer in there. Yeah, guys, you need more videos. All right, next up we have Unmatched Storage and Accessories. I don't have to say too much about this. It's unmatched. If you have the game, you'll be interested in it. If you're not, if you don't have the game, I doubt you'll be interested because this is just to store the game. And it does look really sweet the way they've done it. You know, looks really cool if you're collecting it all. But I'm interested though, can you actually order the actual game? I'm sure you can because you have all this extra stuff. You should be able to get the game as well, right? Dun 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 dun. No, you cannot. It's everything around it except the actual game. Here's the shipping if you want to see. But there's no actual game. It's a bit weird. I think it feels like a missed opportunity. Yeah, okay. I'm not missing it, right? Promo pack. You could get promo cards. Battlefield sleeves pack. Brawl back, go back, battle box. Includes 12 boost cubes, so that's just the cubes, right? Yeah, okay, no actual game. No, unless it's get in the game. There's no, I don't know. All right, then we have Blaseball, the card game. It's basically baseball, but then on steroids because you have all these typical baseball characters, but then not typical. You have a baseball character, but then it's like high, just major fantasy, right? Like you have robots and everything, and you have special actions. Basically, you're just pitching. You're doing a baseball game, but then all these special actions that you do, and yeah, I don't know much about baseball, so I'm not going to try to explain everything because I don't really have anything to do with the sport. But if you like baseball, check this out. I think it's pretty popular even, no? Yeah, 141% funded, so could be interested. And then the last one is The Dark by Disaster Tourism. A good name. So a wretched and alone solo journaling game about isolation and loss amidst an encroaching preternatural darkness. So basically you are the only one left from a group of people and you're trying to survive, okay? So it looks very eerie. It's pretty cool. Tony from Plus One says, never has a solo game so perfectly captured the sense of isolation the genre demands. Lose yourself in the dark. There's not that much to see though on the page. It's more just describing what it is and what's in there. You can see here what you get, the booklets and so on, and the PDFs, all that kind of stuff that's in there. And what's unlocked, but there's no real visual stuff. So yeah, just so you know. All right, shipping. There's no shipping here, right? Is there? I didn't see any shipping. No, they don't say anything about shipping, even though this is physical, right? I think, or is it just well, for $75, it better be physical. Okay. Anyway. So that's all I want to talk about now. So yeah, let's stop here, shall we? Because my baby's crying and I need to get over there. All right, I was Joachim. This is So Many Games for a Little Time. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.